Gideon stooped to examine something, then indicated that Snuv should look for herself. Bones. There were more, strewn up and down the street. Human bones, she thought, and then a skull sitting atop the remains of a desk confirmed it. The grey half-light that had followed them from Malfen grew darker as the stormhead edged into town. Lightning illuminated the underbellies of clouds and flickered across the face of dilapidated buildings. Wind gusted down the main street, and atop the outlying hills, trees bent almost to the ground. Snuv swayed aside as something shot by her and shattered when it hit the road, a tile from a nearby roof. Manny shook his head and stomped his front hooves. He had sensed something, and now Snuv could feel it, brushing through the fine hairs on the nape of her neck, causing her to turn. There, back towards the edge of town, dozens of shadowy shapes crept from the abandoned buildings. At first, she thought they were humans, but they were hunched over with long snouts and twitching ears. In the retreating shiver of lightning, silver glinted from axes, spears and swords, and beady eyes blazed crimson. She turned back to warn Gideon, but he had already seen the danger, and it wasn't just behind. Either side of the road, more and more skulking figures emerged from the ruins of stores, hissing to one another, gibbering, squeaking.
"Keep going!"
Gideon yelled above the storm.
"The road ahead is clear!"
The knight picked up his pace, and Snuv had to jog to keep up with him, Manny trotting at her side, throwing his great head left and right. Too fast, and they made themselves prey. Too slow, and they would be hemmed in. Still the creatures emerged from the shells of buildings. Lightning set the clouds afire long enough for her to see them more clearly. Rats' heads atop mannish bodies, covered with hair. Most were dressed in expensive clothes, ripped and stained with dark patches that might have been blood. To the left as she passed, Snuv noticed a store with a huge display window that was now a frame edged with jagged glass. Rat people moved about inside, festooned with necklaces of precious stones, glittering rings and shiny bracelets. Next door, more rat people stood watching from a ramshackle porch. There was a sign beside the front door, but Snuv couldn't make out what it said in the gloom. The house the porch belonged to was 3 stories high, crooked and at risk of collapsing. Holes pocked the outer walls from where the siding had rotted away. Gideon held up a hand for Snuv to stop. He gripped the bridle as his horse stomped in agitation. Rat people approached from up ahead, steel glinting in their fists. Not just a few, a horde.